Hi, I'm Mr. Go. I will be talking about the careless mistakes you'll make in a maths examination today. One of the first few careless mistakes you might make would be misreading the question or misinterpreting the question. So, how are you going to avoid misreading the question? Or if you don't understand the question, what are you supposed to do? First thing is to go back to recap several important words, keywords, for example, increasing or decreasing. Of course, that is to add or subtract, right? Now, other things would then be to reread the question when you know that you typically make this mistake. When you are going through when you finish your paper, you should go back, read the question again, and check your numbers against the questions that have been given. All right. So, what other mistakes might you make while doing your examination? Of course, negative numbers. If any of you have done several test papers, you will already know negative numbers are one of the most common mistakes that you can make. When you're expanding the brackets, you would typically have to multiply negative times negative, and you will get a positive. You should know this. However, there are many students who would forget about the negative within the bracket. Okay, next. You will also see that there are some students who would forget the units or make the wrong estimation. So typically in an O-level examination, you should round off your final answer to 3 significant figures. Or if the answer is in degrees, it should be with 1 decimal place. Now, looking at your final answer, if you forget your units, you should go back to the question asked and check what the unit they're asking for would be. For example, if they're asking for hours, and if your answer is in minutes, please make sure to correct that. All right, see you next time.